Hello, it's Tom, editor of the Popcorn Muncher, and welcome once again to our YouTube channel. Now, this week we once again have to talk about Star Wars because it's been a very tough week to be a Star Wars fan. The news broke a few days ago that the brilliant Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose in last year's Star Wars The Last Jedi, has quit social media because she's faced a barrage of racial and misogynistic abuse on Instagram since her part in the film last year. Just like Leslie Jones in the wake of Ghostbusters, knuckle-dragging man-babies all over the internet have turned their anger at a film they didn't like onto a person of colour who just happened to star in it. It's baffling, though, that this has happened to Star Wars. This is a franchise that has always been built on tolerance from day one. When Princess Leia showed the men how to handle themselves in a fight way back in 1977, it was revolutionary. Even the completely rightly maligned slave bikini sequence ultimately leads to Leia carrying out her own badass revenge. Female protagonists in Star Wars aren't new. They're an established part of the series' DNA, just like space battles, lightsabers, and weird alien creatures performing in pub bands. There was very little of this sort of aggro surrounding The Force Awakens. Fans were simply relieved, I think, that a new Star Wars movie was actually good, and so they didn't have time to realise that what they were actually watching was a story in which the protagonists were a woman and a black man. The same wasn't true of The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson's movie is, for me, exactly what new Star Wars should be. It's a bold and brave story that prizes character arcs over action for action's sake. But it also features some of the most terrific moments in the history of the franchise, whether it's the Force link scenes between Rey and Kylo Ren, or the incredible moment where the two of them team up to fight General Snoke's Praetorian Guard. But that pissed some fans off. They wanted Star Wars to be different, sure, but different only in the way that they specifically wanted and had foreseen. One of the key themes of this backlash is that Star Wars is being taken over by social justice warriors, and that it's straying from the stories of the past to bend to the will of some sort of Machiavellian liberal elite trying to convince people to be nice that But that's not to say that everyone who disliked The Last Jedi fits into this category. Disliking or even outright hating a movie is absolutely fine, and there are a lot of people whose opinion I really respect that would argue for The Last Jedi as one of the worst films in the entire franchise. Yes, even including the prequels. However, disliking a film, as I shouldn't need to say, but do for some reason, is no excuse to send abuse to someone. This backlash was never about Kelly Marie Tran. She was just the unfortunate human being who became a scapegoat for it all. And that's really sad. Now, I've seen some idiots on social media trying to defend a certain amount of this abuse on the grounds that she agreed to be in the film and therefore must take some responsibility for it being, in the words of these people, the worst thing since Donald Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal or Ed Sheeran appeared on Game of Thrones. Now, beyond the fact that no perceived slight of any size justifies abusing someone so badly that they quit social media, that's an awful argument. Kelly Marie Tran is an actress, and she was offered a role in the most popular franchise of all time. No one in the acting profession would turn down Star Wars, particularly as Tran is a younger performer looking to make a name for herself in this business. She wasn't an A-list millionaire with 10 different holiday homes before this film. She was someone looking to earn a living through acting. Now, holding her responsible for The Last Jedi's failure is like blaming a McDonald's till worker for the fact your child is fat. She was a small cog in a much bigger machine. But distinctions like that don't matter to this particular breed of toxic fan. They feel entitled to a Star Wars that is exactly the one they want, and they will pile on to anyone who threatens to change that. Whether it's Rian Johnson for daring to take creative risks, Kathleen Kennedy for firing the guys from the Lego movie, or Kelly Marie Tran for taking a life-changing job and daring to be a woman of colour while doing it. This week, along with many fans, I've been forced to confront the fact that the Star Wars fandom, which I genuinely love, I'm a huge fan of these movies, is packed with some of the worst and least tolerant people on the internet, and there's a fair bit of competition for that title. These people are not just stupid, they have fundamentally misunderstood Star Wars, and I'm ashamed to say that I share a fandom with them. However, on the other side of that coin, thankfully, a campaign has spread across Twitter urging fans to tweet positive opinions about Kelly Marie Tran and about Star Wars in general using the hashtag #ForceOutHate. That's something I can definitely get behind. But I'll leave with the words of Mark Hamill on Twitter this week. He's Luke Skywalker, and he gets it. So that's this week's video. Usually I ask for your views on what I've said in this video, but to be honest, if you disagree with what I've said in here, I don't really want to hear your views. But if you like what I've said, please comment in the comment section. By all means, share some force out hate, positive messages, because goodness knows that's what the fandom needs this week. You can find more Popcorn Muncher content, including lots of Star Wars stuff, some positive, some not so positive, over at thepopcornmuncher.com. I've also put all of our social media links in the description below, as always, so do please follow us on those platforms, and be sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Thank you so much for watching.